Hello everyone. I want to quickly look at the Eurorack modules that I currently have in my rack, and we're going to do a snap review. So I'm going to point out a module and really quickly say what I think about it, like anything that comes to mind, and then quickly move on to the next module. So let's see how it goes. I like to talk a lot, but hopefully like a minute or two about every single module and just go one by one. So yeah, there's lots of stuff here at the moment. Some of it is brand new and some of it I've had for a while. And yeah, let's just see what happens. All right, so let's go. So maybe we start with the rack. So the rack brute, the 6U from Arturia, my favorite case from the various cases that I had and also ones that I had in the past. Super sturdy, super strong, can hold a lot of HP. The power supply is great. Yeah, just nothing bad to say about it. I really love this case and I would definitely buy it again. And I'm even considering extending it, connecting another 6U or another 3U to it. Yeah, I think it's great. All right, digital tuner from L1 from Belarus. For me, I really need a digital tuner or a tuner anyway, in my setup because I'm sampling the Eurorack and I want to use it in sample libraries. And I need really, really precise tuning, even if I'm doing some crazy stuff. So it really helps. What I don't like is that, yeah, if you don't use it for a while, it just turns off and you have to click the on again. It's like kind of super annoying. Why can't it just stay on? And I didn't ask you to conserve power or anything like that. Maybe it's a little bit too wide on the HP. There's other modules that do it way smaller. On the other hand, for my use case, I like it that it's a big screen and it's dedicated. Also, the sound going in and then going out. So you don't need to waste a multiple or anything like that. And you have two basically at the same time. I use it a lot. All right, the Dope4 MIDI Brain A193. Nothing wrong, nothing bad to say against it. Provides me MIDI for everything that I do. I have a simple setup that is not based on drums or anything else, so I just really need one of these. Gate, pitch, CV, mod wheel. Yeah, nothing to say against it. I know there's some narrower ones, but I think this is fine. It's not too wide. It's accessible. I like the module. Simple multiple by Dope4. Yeah, nothing to say here. It's just like any other multiple and does the job. The Vermona unicycle oscillator. So first thing first, it sounds really, really good. It's a really fat and well tracking for the most part. I mean, I don't know, like as you go to higher octave, it slowly starts to drift, but playing low octave, it just sounds really nice. The build is really nice. It has a lot of customization here as far as like inputs for the sync and FM, linear, exponential, blah, 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 and a bunch of simultaneous outputs. Beautiful Vermona, as usual. What I don't like is that none of these inputs have any attenuators on. And as you'll see later, my LFOs don't have attenuators either. So basically, by using this OSC, I have to opt in to using attenuators. All right, let's move on. The Behringer Brains. Yeah, it's a clone of the mutable instrument plates. It's actually very, very nice, I have to say, also as far as build quality and design. I like the screen. I like those little LEDs behind, like these nice kind of LEDs. Yeah, I have to say, I like everything about it. Great value for price, 139 or 29 euros, something like that. Tiny bit wide maybe, but still it's completely fine. Yeah, I mean, this is something maybe you want two of. I really like the way the second output interacts with the third output. So this is due to the original mutable instrument software, but still, bottom line, great buy. The Dreadbox Antidote, yeah, I don't know, it's childish. This green panel, those faders feel kind of cheap, those small knobs, I don't know. Doesn't sound great at all. Doesn't really track well. The tuner doesn't like it. I don't know. I have to say it's kind of like a kind of a dud. Yeah, it wasn't pricey. It was, I don't know, less than 100 euros, but still, it's probably going away. The one thing I still want to experiment is using it like a chorus, flanger, and like filter. But as far as synthesis, it's, yeah, I don't know, it's a dud. Cool. The Rides on the Storm. I don't really like the design. I don't like this like gradient gray on gray thingamajig and then the gray knobs on top with the white marker. I don't know. It doesn't work for me at all, the design. Also the knobs, I don't know. Don't like the style so much. But as far as functionality, this is a pretty amazing module. So it's marketed as a filter. it's shown like on catalogs as a filter, but in the end, it's a mixer. You have 3 inputs here with a low-pass filter that sounds actually pretty fucking good. It has an overdrive circuit that you can trigger, and the resonance has a boost circuit that you can trigger. And on top of all that, it's also a VCA. So like any other VCA, input and output and CV input. And yeah, and of course the filter has all the linear CV and all of that. So yeah, look, and it's a little bit flimsy on the inputs. I don't know. It's not a bad build quality, but it's also not amazing. And I also don't like how close together the ABC knobs here on the mixer. If you have a bunch of wires going around, it's and you want you see, it's I don't know. But maybe it could have been a little bit wider and still be okay. But again, in the end, it's a good module because of all the functionality, and it does sound great. The IntelliGel UVCF, I love this filter. I love the width. I love the sound of it. It's very kind of clean and scientific. I especially like the bandpass. I don't know, it sounds really, really smooth. Also with a lot of resonance. Can be used as a sine oscillator, and it sounds very clean in that role as well. I used to have another one of these, and like just the exact same one. I had 2 of them in the rack, and I was using the bandpasses like on different kind of areas, like even on noise with some resonance. And I think that's the one module from modules I've had in the past that I'm sad that I sold. I would have loved to have another one. And yeah, maybe now I have other filters, but I always thought, shit, I should have kept them both. All right, the Dreadbox filter, to be honest, I don't know. Like, this is also a dud. It's a different series from the Dreadbox Antidote, but still earlier series, I think. But I don't really like I don't know, what is it even, like Persiglass or fiberglass or whatever. Some plastic, something. It's not exactly a high quality panel, and the knobs, and there's just 2 knobs. If you look at the filter next to it from IntelliGel, it's both narrower, the build is better, the knobs are better. There's no attenuators for the CV here. I don't know, and I really find the sound. So if I pass something in this filter, even if I'm not filtering, so it's open all the way, no resonance, and I'm going in and out of the low pass, it still drops the volume a lot. I'm not so sure what's going on there. So, and it's kind of wide as well. So, not a fan. All right, this distortion wave shaper from Doepfer. To be honest, it's really, really new in my rack, and I haven't really had a chance to use it, so not much to say about it. I'm curious about it. I did pass some sound in it, and the initial results were pretty cool, like passing the brains and stuff through it. One thing that is a bit weird with this module, and I read this online, is that whatever comes in, it automatically does a 3 times gain to it. Like, there's a huge gain circuit inside. The way to disable that circuit is you can take the module out and like seriously cut a resistor from the back, and then that gain goes away. It's weird. I don't know. But in the end, I'm curious. It's a little bit wide like all Doepfer modules, but on the other hand, quite accessible with quality knobs. This module from Slot Modular, I built that DIY. I mean, in the last super booth. I mean, I kind of built it because the dude, shout out, man. He really helped me clean it out and get it in working order, because I really suck at soldering and all that. But it's really great. It's 2 HP, and you have a mid, low, high EQ, which doesn't really color a lot, but does add, it adds some coloring to the sound in a really cool way. And with just 2 HP, I mean, this is such a great module actually. So shout out. So this Expert Sleepers ADAT, this is the ADAT in. I have the ADAT out over here, sorry, but I'm not using it. I only want the ADAT in because I have this Behringer ADAT going directly here, and it's just a super useful module. Now it's not connected, but there's nothing you can say against this module. Basically, it does the job. It's not that big, and it gets you 8 awesome ADAT inputs straight into your Eurorack. So win, of course. This dual ADSR from Behringer, from Doepfer, I actually love it. It's quite narrow. I get 2 envelopes. There's CV here that you can control the envelopes, gate, of course, everything that you need, but in a compact kind of presentation from Doepfer, as opposed to some of their other envelopes. So really good, and it's also not expensive. I don't remember the price. And same for this dual VCA from Doepfer, quite narrow. It can be exponential or linear. You can have a gain offset here, and just directly having these two 2 envelopes and a VCA. It's not so much width and a lot of functionality here with the I/O. All right, this row of 4 LFOs from Doepfer. Again, I really actually like this module a lot. You basically have 4 LFOs. It's quite narrow, and you have a square and a triangle. To be honest, I don't care much for the square. I never use it. So for me, if it had like, I mean, another constellation could have been 8 and just triangles, would have been amazing for me, but whatever. I like the LEDs. I like the playful colorness. There's a jumper on the back where you can change the range on the LFO, where it can be like either, like, I don't know, I don't remember the ranges, but like not that slow to kind of like audio rate, or really, really slow to less than audio rate, something like that. I put it on like the slowest as possible. So I want the slow way. It's kind of weird that you have to do it with a jumper. Would have been amazing if it was just here, because sometimes I do want faster LFOs and I can't with these. Also, there's no attenuation here. And as I mentioned, there's no attenuation here. So if I want to use these LFOs with this oscillator, I need this attenuator module from WMD. Yeah, it's just simply an attenuator, nothing bad to say it. The knobs maybe don't sit amazing in the sockets, but yeah, nitpicking here. All right, Bella Io Gliss. In the last super booth, I just saw tons of stuff. If any of you have ever been to super booth, it's just insane. You really can't focus. You can't remember anything. That's the one module I remembered. It wasn't brand new, that super booth. It was released in 2003, I think, 2023 earlier, if I'm not mistaken. But it was still, yeah, it caught my eye, and the dude from Bella IO gave me a walkthrough. I did have a Bella Salt, which is a completely different concept from these guys in the past. It's a programmable module. It can be programmed with pure data and C++, yada, yada. I didn't connect with it. I thought I would. I didn't like the build. I didn't like the knobs. But this is really different. They nailed it. It's an amazing controller. It's really kind of, it has the sexy factor. It has the tactile factor. It responds very well. It can do tons of stuff. I won't go over what it can do, but it has a controller mode, a record mode. It can be like a 75-second LFO. You can put audio in here, and it can be like a meter. It can be a wavetable oscillator. It's fucking insane. And it's just like, yeah, so narrow. Really, really nice module, and it wasn't that pricey, 100 and something euros. Man, I should have bought like 3. All right, Mutant Hot Glue by Hex Inverter. So they went out of business. Now Erica Synth bought them or whatever, and they make the exact same module, but I think actually with a way better design. If you see the Erica design, it looks really sleek and kind of high quality and kind of modern in a nice way. This design kind of is like I don't know, like a 70s Chernobyl power plant aesthetic. Nothing wrong with that kind of aesthetic, just saying. I would prefer the Erica aesthetic. Otherwise, the module is quite cool. It's a mixer with a compressor, with distortion, and the mixer has some quirks. You have an aux a send and a return. So, and it's all laid out. So you have the knobs for everything, and they're big knobs. The module is big, quite accessible, quite clean. What I don't like is it's a little bit confused. Maybe it tries to do a little bit too much here. Like, I don't know, like there's like a separate output for A, and then like there's some magic here. Maybe it's useful for you, but for me, it's like a little bit like, I don't know if I use all this. All right, let's move on. But in the end, it's a win. I have to say, it's a win. It's a really cool module, and it's kind of the center. In the end, this became the center, I have to say. All right, this Tempête Magnétique, I hope I even pronounced it right, from EOWave, I have to say, like, I really have it for a very short time, but it's love at first sight. Immediately clicked with it. The price was not that bad. You know, it's a few hundred euros. I don't even really remember, but if you look at it just like, okay, wow, this module is a few hundred euros. It's like on the pricey range, but it's 4 filters. So per filter, it's actually super cheap per filter. You cannot buy one filter like this for that price and get such a high quality filter. This doesn't exist, to be honest. And you get 4 of those. Not only do they sound great, they're quite scientific. Maybe it's not what some of you like. So it's like the polar opposite of something like the Doepfer Wasp. They are very clean. They are very smooth. They sound almost digital. Oh, I didn't want to use that word because now it's not digital, but it's just very smooth and very clean and very soothing. I really love the texture. You can also overdrive them a little bit. You have inputs here for A and so the thing is, There are four filters, but they have insane interaction between them. So A and B can have an interaction between them. C and D can have an interaction between them. And then the pair here can have an interaction like this, like cross-modulating and affecting, and like there's an envelope follower and syncing. And so I'm so far kind of, I have to admit, using it as four filters, but the possibilities are intriguing. And so overall, design, I really like. Kind of the mystique, I really like. There's possibilities here, and it's interesting. The sound, I really like. The layout, I really like. The build quality, I really like. So, and the price, in the end, it's completely worth it. And if you, like for four filters that have all this interaction, it's even not wide, right? So, total win, I think it's probably the best module here. All right, RF Nomad. This is a radio module. To be honest, I have it for a long time. I gave it a lot of love. I really tried, but in the end, if I have to be honest, it's a little bit of a dud. Everything, like when I read up on that module online, all the shortcomings from the developer claims they are by design. It's sort of like, hey, it's not a bug, it's a feature, but no, dude, it's misguided. It's a bug, you know. So for example, when you it's a radio that can get shortwave radio. The tuning knob is so sensitive. You need to be so slow with it. And even if you use CV, like I use it here with the Machina Plus, with the mod wheel, to kind of go a little bit more fine-tuned, it's still very hard to catch a station. It immediately drifts out of that station. And the whole thing, it actually does not have a demodulator. So the whole time you're hearing the sort of radio as you're tuning, and if you catch a station, then it starts to kind of speak, and then it gets a little bit out of tune, and you get that oscillator sound again. I don't know. So you could argue, yeah, it's great for making noise and drums and chopping it up, all good. But on the other hand, I don't know. I was expecting a proper like radio module, and I also have to say it comes with one antenna, which is quite short. I did some other stuff with my antennas here, so forget what you see here, but it's quite short. I could never pick up anything, and then you can buy a longer antenna, and I could never pick up anything with that either. I had to kind of completely like add stuff to it and make an insane antenna, and then I started getting things. But bottom line, could have been interesting. I don't know. All right, the 2 HP reverb, actually super cool. It's super narrow. The reverb sounds good. I don't know if it's the best or not the best ever. I don't really care. I get the reverb sound for 2 HP. Adding stuff to the whole dronage and stuff that I want to do. It has stereo, and I can use the stereo actually not exactly stereo. So sometimes I'll output from the left. I'll take the right and feed it back in and do crazy shit like that, and it actually works very well. Cool. So that's these two rows. Let's move here. So here it's, maybe there's a few more disappointments here. There's a Behringer envelope module here, the 2500 module. Actually, this is completely fine. Nothing bad to say against it. Maybe it's a little bit too fat. The envelope sounds good. The module looks good. The knobs are high quality. The panel is high quality. You can trigger the envelope manually as well. It's maybe cool when you're kind of doing things. And you have like single, multiple trigger modes, and you have the envelope inverted and regular. Not bad. I don't use it a lot because I'm just content a lot of the times with these two, but I have to say it's a nice module. Maybe a little bit too fat. This spring module from Error Instruments, it generates control voltage. I haven't had the opportunity to use it a lot yet. I'm looking forward to trying it out with this Coma Field Kit that we'll talk about in a second. Dual attenuators from Dopefer. This is actually kind of interesting because when I started out, I got these attenuators, and then I figured out, oh, I can get these, and it's much nearer, and I have 4. But then I became a little bit more into the Eurorack, and I sold the other ones that I had. I only have this one now from Dopefer, but now I kind of like it because it's not that, it's like bigger. It takes maybe more space, but it's much more accessible than these small ones. And if I'm attenuating these 4 LFOs, fine. But if I want to attenuate like my master output or something like that, I find it useful that it's actually accessible. And yeah, I just wanted to say that. Microcell, you know what? I don't get this module. I don't understand what it does. Granular processor, I tried. I read the manual. I tried the different modes. I try moving around. I try to do what they tell me to do. I get some results. It's weird. It's quirky. It doesn't respond the way I expect it to or think it will. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think I like it, to be honest. It's too weird. The build is, it's really kind of almost DIY-ish. Maybe I'm missing something, you know. I'll give it another go or two, but I did actually give it a few goes. I got some sounds out of it, but like, I don't know. I was impressed the very first time I touched it, got a few sounds, and then I never got any other sounds. So whatever. Behringer 112, mixed feelings. The pure oscillator sound is okay. Yeah, just playing a saw, it's fat, or play, you got the ranges. It's actually easy to tune it. It stays in tune. All good. It has a lot of modulation inputs and all that. It's actually a dual oscillator. Yeah, and you have the shapes. On the surface, it's all good. But I don't know, when I started messing around with like FM and OSC sync between the oscillators and stuff like that, it wasn't the sound that I was expecting. It kind of fizzled out, sounded broken at times. Like you could tell it's not exactly high quality, It looks the part. Sometimes it sounds the part, but it's not. I'll still keep it, but it's not amazing. It wasn't expensive either, fair enough. All right, a ring modulator from Doepfer. I don't use it a lot. It'll do, yeah, it's a ring modulator. It's a quite simple one, X, Y, in, out, out. If you want any sort of kind of, like gain structuring, you need to attenuate whatever comes in, obviously. And you don't have a mix between dry and wet. It's just, yeah, as you can see, it's just the things. It's okay-ish, whatever. I wouldn't miss it if it was gone tomorrow. I wouldn't be like, oh, where the fuck did my Doepfer ring modulator go? I would even forget that I fucking had it. Yeah, whatever. All right, Behringer 172. This is the worst module here in the entire place. It sounds like crap. I don't understand this module. Like, so on paper, it looks really cool because maybe it's a little bit fat, but it packs a lot of functionality and it's like cheap. It's like 70 euro. I don't remember, but it's less than 100 euros. You have a phase shifter, you have an audio delay, and both can be kind of modulated with CV. The effect even has like on and off. So yeah, great. You have an LFO on board and you have a gate delay. So there's lots of shit you can do here. But I don't know, it just doesn't sound right. Like I tried, like the delay is weird. Like I'm modulating it, it's not really sounding. It's not the sound that I expect. I don't know how to explain. Same with the phase shifter. The LFO doesn't look. That's the range, So you can really see the range with the LEDs. It's not doesn't really go that slow, kind of ish, and it doesn't really. I don't know. You don't see it, but it doesn't really go as slow as I expect or as fast as It's, yeah, waste of space, waste of money even for the price. I don't know. It's a dud. Rides on the store multiple. I got it recently. It's here temporarily. Will be in a different way. It's 4 HP. Usually multiples are 2 HP, but you have 1, 2, 3, 4 of them here. And it was kind of cheap. I like it. I just don't like this design. Rides on the storm. What the fuck with this gradient thing? Have something solid, guys. All right. Who's this from? Oh, that's the UA. So this is from the same company that does the VCF. It's almost the exact same look, the exact same knobs. It's almost exactly the same as the WMD. I don't know, a little bit, tiny bit different. Nothing really to say about either one. Maybe the knobs here feel a little bit weightier. Yeah, the knobs feel better on the IntelliGel. Again, does the job. Another radio. So this is the VC radio from X Audio Systems. It's a little bit more elaborate than the RF Nomad over here. You have, just like the knobs, everything is a little bit more kind of in your face. You have an antenna that comes with it that can get quite long. But even here, I'm also in a basement, so I kind of clip it onto my external antennas. Another story. What I like, so here you have just shortwave. That's the range. And here you have FM, AM, and then 6 bands of shortwave that are split into bands. This is actually really cool because then you can get more granular with the range here. So it has a much better kind of setup. And when you hit a station, maybe we can find a quick, with FM, it's easy to find. So you get like a red blink. It's actually really useful on shortwave because sometimes you really have to search and you get some indication that you're close to something. You have stereo lighting up. Usually only happens with FM. And then you also have the CV. I like it. It's a nice module. The build feels a little bit, I have to admit, the knobs are, those like the cheapest ones possible. And look, it's a little bit flimsy. And I would wish that they would have more weight. It's kind of the same problem as here. The tuning is very, very hard to get. On FM, it's easy. On shortwave, you could move it by like just the tiniest amount and either get or lose a station. All right, quick one, Behringer again, 923. Kind of mixed feelings, it's not amazing. So it's noise, White noise, 2 outputs, pink noise, 2 outputs. Nothing wrong to say about this. It's fucking noise. This is fine. And then high pass and low pass. The filters, they don't really sound amazing. They sound kind of cheap. The whole module is kind of cheap. It was also cheap to buy. But I have to be honest, I use it a lot. Just having this static filter, like, yeah, I pull it up here. I don't know, I kill 50, 200 hertz or something like that. Sometimes I kill the top over here. Super useful actually with these radio shits, it kind of cleans things up. And of course, having just the noise, I don't need noise anywhere else. I have noise here, so whatever, I'm good with noise. Yeah, useful. It wasn't expensive. If the filters were a little better, it would be like an awesome win. But in any case, it's fine. I'm happy that I have this module. Another multiples, yeah, from Doppler, the same as the other one. Let's just move on, nothing to say. So here I have a few modules. Those are the ones that I don't really use. I often don't even turn this guy on. We have a bit modifier from Doppler. I try to like this guy. I don't understand this module. Really, like, okay, yeah, you could take control voltage. So basically it's a bit crusher. It's really super fucking aggressive. You have to kind of really play with the levels. And I don't know, I don't know. I never clicked with it. So I tried on audio signals. Yeah, okay, it bit crushes, it distorts, but there's no real beauty there. The different modes here, you have like a bunch of different modes. They don't sound all that different. It's weird. I don't know. And then with control signals, yeah, so you take like some control, you can get it to be more steppy or not. You could find uses, but in the end, I'm not using it. I have to be honest. And it's kind of fat, and it's actually really deep, this module. So I don't know, not worth it for me. It's here for now, but yeah. All right, a dope for envelope generator. It's fatter than that one, but it's really, really accessible. I like the build actually. I have to be honest, even though it's this fat, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not using it. I have to be honest, but I like that you have ranges here. If it was a little bit narrower, I do like the module. I have to be honest. It's a good envelope. It's really, really nice. But yeah, I had to make a sacrifice, and there I have two, and here I have one. It was just the numbers game regarding this one. All right, a dual sample and hold. To be honest, in anything that I'm doing, I don't need sample and hold, so that's why it's over here. It'll do the job. It's not that fat. You clock, and yeah, signals. Just nothing to say. Let's go on. Mixer from Doppler, I really like it. There's the X version for audio signals, linear version for control signals. Sounds really good. It did the job for me for a long time, but now looking here, we have these three. We have a bunch of ways to mix. It made its way out, but I don't think I'm actually selling this one. Maybe in a different constellation, I need a mixer again, and I like this mixer. Another mixer that made its way out from Air Instruments. This is a little bit different. Here you have 6 inputs and an output. Here you have just the 4, but here you don't have volume on the output. Maybe it doesn't matter. But I found this to run extremely hot. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I always found like I never went above like 1/4 or 1/3 here. Whereas here I have more range, I have to say. This one runs really hot. Maybe it's just my experience somehow. I don't dislike it. I like the design and everything. But if I had to actually choose between these two, I choose the Doppler one, I have to be honest. All right, a 2 HP comb filter. I actually would love to bring it back to my main kind of setup. It does what a comb filter does. It's maybe not amazing or not amazing. I don't know. Does the job, like that typical combing sound, and yeah, you can get a lot of resonance in there. And yeah, I like the module. It's also really narrow, of course. All right, over here we have another 2 HP, the multi-mode filter. To be honest, I bought this filter from some dude secondhand, and yeah, he sold me something broken. It just outputs shitloads of white noise. So basically, if I want noise with a filter, I can use it as a source that way, but I cannot use it as a filter. Shame. I have a feeling it actually sounds quite good. Don't use this dual VC crossfader from Doppler. I have no idea why I even bought it. Zero uses for it in my case. It's just here. And I also have no use for bringing sound back into ADAT, just not in my use case at the moment, but I keep the module. If I need it one day, it's here. All right, last piece of kit. Wow, we made it through the whole fucking thing. So this is the Coma Field Kit. It's kind of new here in the studio. I didn't have a chance to experience it a lot, but I have to say, so first of all, it's super cute with the box and everything. And I also have, I bought so there's a conversion panel. You can convert it to Eurorack. I bought that, but I'm not so sure I want to do it anymore just because of how cute it is and because it has all these inputs for like DC motors and like capacitor microphones and weird stuff that I don't know if I want it to be stuck in this space. Maybe I want to take it into another space where to do things with it. So the box is actually maybe the way to still go. It has a lot of functionality. It's in a small compact box. It's kind of pricey. It's a few €100, but for what you get, it's actually not pricey. You have a mixer with 4 channels. You have like this, like all these I/O here, and like controlling. I don't want to. Yeah, that's the thing. It's a crazy thing. Like you use it in experimental ways, but you have an LFO that it comes with, an envelope follower. Yeah, this DC interface to drive motors. You have the CV radio here. And as you see, I really like radios. And maybe I'll do another video comparing my different radios. But here again, AM, FM, and shortwave. Um, Kind of weird what they did here. This, guys, seriously, like the input for the antenna is these small, tiny little holes. Look what I had to do. I had to take my copper wire and kind of try to fit it in here somehow and then put some cell. Guys, seriously, like an input for the antenna. Like I don't know, whatever, but it's a bit weird. Like everything else is fine. But yeah, super cute. I'm super excited about this one. From the little tiny bit that I experienced it, I already know it's fine. It's a win, like for sure. Yeah, just looking forward to doing more with it. Wow, we passed everything somehow. Yeah, this is what is here currently, and these are my opinions on these things here. Altogether, I kind of like the way the system communicates and the stuff that I can sample. Yeah, with all these radios and a lot of filters and all that. All right, see you in some other videos. Wow.